Hello everyone, this is Babamot. Welcome to some more Homeworlds commentary. This is between SimonNaar and SenetMaster. Simon has been featured on the channel a couple of times. Simon was really good back on Super Duper games, has been playing some on BGA, but less than in the old days, I think. Um, what I always remember about Simon is that Simon went into sort of a sabbatical just when I started playing on SDG. So I think of them as being one of the old masters, um, and is still really good. SenetMaster is a newer player who's been featured at least once on the channel before. I haven't watched one of their games for a few months. So they may have improved or changed their style a lot in that time. But at least from my recollection of Simon as a master and knowledge of Senet as being more of a new player, I would absolutely put my money on Simon. But this game was recommended to me as being particularly interesting. So this could get wild and anything could happen. Well, let's see. Simon goes first, takes a red Goldilocks. Senet takes, oh, really? How odd. This is a red-yellow fortress. No blue at all in Senet's home. Um, Normally, if this game had not been recommended to me, I probably would have stopped at this point and said, Senet has no idea what they're doing. This is going to be an absolute train wreck. Simon's going to walk all over them. Um, Starting without any blue, I believe, is an enormous handicap. But we'll see if Senet makes something happen. Both builds. Simon trades for red right away. And so this is kind of the issue with not having blue at home. Senet doesn't even have the option to join the red economy here. Senet can move to a blue star, but by the time they do, Simon can build the last small red, and it looks like Senet's going to be locked out of red on turn 3 here. Let's see if Simon takes mercy. Okay, well, I see that as kind of a mistake or a generous offering from Simon because I don't see why there's any reason you wouldn't lock down the reds right here. And Senet building more green. That's good in a lot of ways because if Senet had traded for red, sure, they'd be in the red economy, but it would take them another 2 turns to build a green, get a green there for them to ever build anymore. And so Simon here actually has a second opportunity to lock Senet out of the reds, and I think they should. No, Simon going for the bigger green. Well, a lot of the times I say go for the biggest ship that you can build, but here, especially with Senet not having a good opportunity to trade their large ship for red and get into the red economy, um, I think Simon is missing opportunities here. Okay, Senet goes for the medium green as well. Simon trades for yellow. And Senet, I think, is really should be trading for the red because Simon still has the opportunity to shut him out. Although, well, I guess here, if if we suppose that Simon is not focused on shutting Senet out of the red, okay, so I'm kind of walking that back a little bit. At this point, there's really no chance of Senet not getting um, these mediums that they can use to trade for the medium greens in fairly short order. So SenetMaster may actually be right to continue building green here, but I think it would not be such a bad thing here. So Senet just built a G2. I think they could very reasonably sacrifice the G3, build this G2, build the other G2 here in Altair, and rebuild the G3 back at home. Um, If they did that, though, there would still be one G3 left in the bank. Simon would get to build it. Senet wouldn't get to overpopulate it. So maybe this really is better. Um, I'm wanting to factory too early. Senet hasn't got any color other than green yet, so No hope of overpopulating. Senate needs to trade for something at some point. Okay, Simon, what you got? Moving forward. Yeah, that threatens Senate's home with overpopulation. This is check. Simon would actually win if these greens got overpopulated. Okay, so Senate has got to move one of those out. Or theoretically sacrifice it, I suppose, but moving out's definitely better. Okay, moving out, discovering blue. Simon now building that green. Yeah, this is the funniness of green coming back to bite Simon, I think. Simon can't sacrifice the G3 to clear out the bank because they'd end up with too much green here. This seems to be handing Senate a chance to build the first additional large ship of the game, and Simon commits to it. So yeah, Simon gets the G3, or Senate gets the G3. Okay, well, and now Senate has the chance to trade for any dang thing. Let's see what Simon wants. Green teleport out to the colony and a red build. Okay, so Senate. I think Senate should have gotten red a long time ago. I think Simon should have built that last R1 a long time ago. But as it is, Simon having finally taken that R1, I think the pressure is increasing on Senate to take a red of some size. Senate picking a yellow, thinking about a yellow. Ah, it's not even a medium. So that doesn't even put Senate in striking distance of Simon's home. Um, and Simon has the advantage in yellows, so trading for the small sort of helps to get yellows closer to opening up the bigger sizes, but that seems to be giving more of an advantage to Simon. I don't like that trade very much. If I was going to go for yellow, I would do it with the medium over here, or maybe even the large. Yeah, the large would have been pretty reasonable because that puts a G3 back in the bank, and Senate is in a better position to continue building green than Simon is. Yeah, don't love that trade. I think red was the right move, but if you're going to do yellow, do the medium, I think. Unless I'm really missing something here. Okay, Simon finishes off the green bank and gets a factory. And Simon's got a lot more colors. Um, well, by a lot more, I mean they have red, and they're even on yellow building opportunity. So I guess the factory doesn't do Simon a whole lot more good than it does Senate, but a little bit. Okay, Senate trading for yellow now with the medium. That's good. So Senate is now ahead in yellows. It has two of them, and they're in different colonies, so that's good. Simon catches up by trading one of the greens from the colony. Okay. Yeah, and I guess Simon just hasn't thought, even though Simon has red and Senate doesn't, I guess Simon just didn't think it was ever worth invading one of these colonies, and they're probably right. Now Simon has enough yellow that they could reasonably sacrifice some of it to get around. I don't like how long Senate's gone without getting red, but it's working out okay so far. At this point, though, Senate has two. These are pretty healthy colonies, but Senate really should be thinking about getting some red. And if they trade for red in either of these colonies, they will be trading away the last green or yellow that they have in that colony, which isn't so healthy. And they can't trade one of their home greens for red because there's no blue. Okay, Senate giving up building potential here in the Castor colony in favor of red. Yeah, that sets up Senate well to abuse their large ship advantage. Invading the colony would be pretty strong here. Simon spreading out their red. That is another thing. I don't know if it would have been worth it to Senate to lose their large ship advantage and their Y2 to blow up one of Simon's stars. But Simon doesn't want to take any chances, spreads out the reds. If I'm Senet, I think I invade the Betelgeuse colony with my big red. Start getting aggressive. Yep, that's Senet's choice too. Simon now sacrificing the G2 from Betelgeuse to build a couple more reds over in the other colony. Okay. This big red is kind of stranded in a blue colony. It'll need a yellow sacrifice to get anywhere again. Or it'll need to change its color or get reinforced, so maybe running ahead with lots of red isn't so bad. Senet just captures. I think that's the most natural thing. Just thinking, I just happened to think that since both Simon and Senet traded away some of their greens, factories are quite a ways off from being accessible again. Senet has 3 green ships and in different systems, so Senet's a little closer to getting the factory back if the factories become a factor again. Ho ho ho. Simon thinking about trading red 1 for yellow 1. That opens up the large yellows, and Senet is in a great position to... Senet could take all 3 of them if Simon commits to this. Oh gosh. Yeah, if I'm Senet, here I would be willing to leave my homeworld with just a medium defender for 1 turn as I sacrifice my G3, build all 3 yellow 3s. That's huge. I think Simon messed up here. All right, let's see what Senet does. Although, on the other hand, Senet only has the 1 red ship, which they probably shouldn't sacrifice since it's a large to do any kind of defending. So maybe Simon is hoping to get something done that way. But gosh, having all that yellow, yeah, and Senet doesn't miss it. Let's see if Simon had some brilliant plan for this eventuality, or if they just... Okay, spreading out the reds. Let's see if they commit to this. They do. This looks to me like Simon losing a ship for not much. Senet sacrifices the R3, but gets to capture an R2. Simon loses a medium. Senet has so many large ships, outnumbering 4 to 1. That losing 1 to capture a medium here, I think, is actually quite a good trade for Senet. I don't think Simon should be offering that. Well, I mean, but they've got to spread out. They've got to try something. Senet, I guess, doesn't like the idea of sacrificing their large for that capture, so there's instead, no, yeah, that's fine too. Just spread out the yellows. That can't be captured anymore. Not in this system, and if Simon invades again, then the invader can get captured. And it takes one of the R3s out of the bank, so the color where Simon is really dominating no longer has a large at the end of the road to build. So, yeah, Senet, that's probably actually the better move, is just to kind of half ignore the invader by spreading out. Okay, now what you got, Simon? Invading this other one. Okay, so here Senet can't move both capturable ships out unless without sacrificing one of them to move the other. I think sacrificing to capture is still perfectly acceptable here. But given that Senet wasn't willing to do it last time, my guess is they won't do it this time. Oh, of course. Yeah, the other one was still under threat. Yep. Capture, sacrifice the R3, capture both of them. Yep. Yeah, realizing that makes me think that that was almost a resignation type move from Simon, because it really got Simon nothing. Gosh, unless Simon's really got something up their sleeve here. No, Simon resigns. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry, Simon. That I think you made some mistakes there. And Senate, I think you played a really good game. I think your homeworld was insane. I think not taking any blue to start is just practically suicide. But somehow you made it work out. I think the biggest thing to me is that in the early game there, where Simon should have completely monopolized the reds, Senate never should have got a red ship this entire game. Um, I think Simon may have been going easy or something. Just may just not have been thinking about the how maybe I don't know. Simon's an old school player. Maybe hasn't thought about this in a long time, but I think Simon could have capitalized so much more on Senate not having blue at their homeworld. Just building that last red early would have really left Senate in a lurch. Maybe Simon just didn't think of it. I don't know. Gosh. Um, well, very surprising outcome to me, especially considering that weak homeworld. But big congratulations to SenetMaster, and thanks to Simon for playing this game and letting us watch. That's all for now. See you later.